Good evening. I'm Patricia Vallone with a CTV News update. County police arrest 2 suspects in connection with a recent assault on a senior citizen in Beltsville. The suspects are Julius Wright of Fort Washington and Christina Felder of Beltsville. On June 2nd, police were called to the 11,000 block of Cherry Hill Road for an assault. Felder reportedly got into a dispute with the victim over minor damage to her car. Police say that she then called her boyfriend, Julius Wright, to the scene where the assault occurred. The incident, which was captured on surveillance video, left the senior with severe injuries. He remains hospitalized in critical but stable condition. The suspects face assault and reckless endangerment charges. A sheriff's deputy from Maryland's Eastern Shore is fatally shot in the line of duty. First Class Glenn Hilliard was killed Sunday night in Wacomico County while chasing a fugitive. The shooting happened while Hilliard was trying to take 20-year-old Austin Davidson into custody. Davidson, who was caught and is now awaiting arraignment, was wanted on felony warrants in several jurisdictions.
This is the man responsible for the felony murder of a Wicomico County Sheriff's deputy. Had he been incarcerated where he belonged, if we did not have no bail system here in Maryland, if we had individuals serving true sentences here in Maryland, our deputy would still be alive. He's wreaked hell all over the lower Eastern Shore. That's why we had 4 warrants for his arrest in Somerset, in Worcester, Wicomico, and Baltimore City.
Someone like this should not have been out on the streets. You've heard me talk over and over again for 8 years about getting tough on these repeat offenders, especially the judges in Baltimore City letting people out. The fact that this guy was out with not serving any jail time for an armed robbery is just unacceptable.
Hilliard would have celebrated his 42nd birthday on next Wednesday, June 22nd. He leaves behind a wife and 3 children. The January 6th committee holds its second hearing this morning. The House Select Committee investigating the deadly insurrection at the U.S. Capitol included live testimony from a former Fox political editor and a conservative Republican election attorney. Ex-Trump campaign manager Bill Stepien was in D.C. to testify, but had to cancel after his wife went into labor. Instead, the committee showed clips of his and others' many hours of testimony.
Can you be more specific about that conversation, in particular what Mayor Giuliani said, your response, and then anybody else in the room's response?
I think effectively Mayor Giuliani was saying, we want it, they're stealing it from us, where'd all the votes come from? We need to go say that we won. And essentially that anyone who didn't agree with that position was being weak.
What was your view at the time as to what he should or shouldn't say?
The results were still being counted. It was becoming clear that the race would not be called on election night.
My belief, my recommendation was to say that votes were still being counted. It's too early to tell, too early to call the race.
And did anybody who was a part of that conversation disagree with your message?
Yes.
Who was that?
The president disagreed with that. I don't recall the particular words. He thought I was wrong. He told me so. And, that they were going to, go he was going to go in a different direction.
While the committee cannot bring legal charges against Trump, its central mission is to uncover former President Trump's alleged attempt to stop the transfer of power. Well, gas prices across the region continue to rise and have hit an new all-time high. AAA reports that today's national average for regular gasoline has hit a record-breaking high of $5.01 per gallon. This is the first time in 2 decades that prices have been this high. Marylanders share how they feel about the rise.
Man, the gas prices are too high. I used to pay $30 to fill my tank. Now I pay $50. That is crazy. Somebody need to do something about it.
I think that it's really unfortunate how, policies that were put in place a couple years ago really come into bite now. It's too bad that, that coupled with inflation is really, it's making people hurt, and it's really just tragic.
I think it's very unfortunate because once you deal with these prices, it causes other problems. And life is already tough enough, and the fuel makes it even tougher.
And prices in Maryland have increased by more than 20 cents in the last week. A triple shooting in District Heights leaves one person dead. Police say the shooting occurred around 1:30 this morning in the 1700 block of Forest Park Drive. 2 adult males were found at the scene suffering from gunshot wounds. A third victim was located nearby in the 8800 block of Walker Mill Road. The victims were transported to a local hospital where one succumbed to his injuries. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Still to come, getting to know County Sheriff candidate Sylvester Jones. Will be back in just a moment.
If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back. Well, county police say 2 officers had to fire their weapons today during the arrest of a homicide suspect. It happened about 5 o'clock this morning in the 1600 block of Eastern Avenue in Capitol Heights. The officers were executing an arrest warrant at the home when they encountered the suspect. Authorities say the officers fired their guns when the suspect displayed a weapon. There were no injuries, and the unidentified suspect was taken into custody. A longtime school counselor has some advice for parents as they navigate tough conversations around school-related shootings. Dr. Nikki Ham is the president of the Maryland School Counselor Association and the associate director of clinical training and field experiences at Bowie State University. Ham says caregivers can start these conversations by creating a safe space at home where their children feel loved and supported. She says it's important that caregivers validate and normalize their feelings.
So that's a normal reaction to say, I'm scared to go to class because I'm scared of getting harmed in class, in school. That's a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. So we should validate that and validate that response for that the child is having. So that's the very first thing. And then again, I go back to working with your community. Reach out to the school, contact the school and say, my child is feeling anxious and nervous. Is there something you can do?
Ham says parents should also keep the conversations age appropriate. A Bowie woman speaks out about a pit bull attack that severely injured her small dog. Betty Carter is speaking exclusively with CTV News about the scary incident. This is Carter and her 9-year-old Brussels Griffon dog named Sebastian. She says Sebastian was viciously attacked by a pit bull back on April 21st at her son's pole vaulting practice in D.C. According to Carter, it took 3 people about 15 minutes to get the pit bull to release Sebastian. Her dog sustained serious injuries and had to undergo surgery. So far, Carter has raised more than $5,800 through a GoFundMe page to help cover the cost of surgery.
So my dog sustained on the right side of his face a gash and a long gash under his neck and broken jaw, missing teeth, and puncture something with his right eye and a hole in his tongue. Any pet owner that has a dog, your dog should be on a leash, because you never know what might happen, because they say a dog won't bite. You don't know that. So now my fear is I'm fear of any dog that comes towards me. I panic.
Carter says since the incident, she hasn't allowed Sebastian to be around other dogs. Well, he was Assistant Director of the U.S. Marshal Service, an Army veteran, police officer, and author of the book Hunting Criminals to Hiding Them. Now Sylvester Jones is making his 3rd run for the Prince George's Sheriff's Office. Jones says his areas of concern include school security, crime reduction, community engagement, and improving the health of residents.
I'm the most qualified candidate to lead our county, and as an assistant director with the U.S. Marshal Service, I had law enforcement authority at the 3rd level for the whole country in the Marshal Service, being an assistant director. So I run all of the court security programs, the judicial security programs, protecting judges, prosecutors, across this country. And I think we had over 2,000 judges and 500 courthouses. So I had oversight for all of those programs. Had as many as 5,000 security people working under my purview. We would train them and everything. No one has that kind of experience. No one has successfully led $1 billion budget. No candidate can say they've done that. I'm quite certain of that.
For more information about Jones, you can log on to sylvesterjones.com. Still ahead here on CTV News tonight, opera comes to Prince George's. Stay with us.
This place that I call. I want to explain it to her.
Thanks for staying with us. Well, the Metropolitan Council of Governments has approved more than $636,000 in grant money to 10 organizations that are working to secure affordable housing in the region. One of those groups is the nonprofit College Park City University Partnership. The Prince George's organization is working to sustain affordable housing along the Purple Line corridor. The grant will help create a community preservation trust,
which is a housing trust that will place homes into a shared equity homeownership program for income-eligible families. College Park, we've seen a lot of reinvestment and redevelopment, and with our proximity to jobs and transit, we're kind of a really important place in the metropolitan Washington area and in Prince George's County. But we need to make sure that with all that reinvestment and redevelopment that we're seeing, that we continue to have housing for our workforce. So this investment will really help us to ensure that we can maintain affordability, stabilize our neighborhoods, and continue to have a good place for people to live and work in College Park.
COG awarded Woodall's organization a $75,000 grant. The program was backed by Amazon Housing Equity Fund. Former Bowie State student Miles Frost won a Tony Award last night. Frost became the youngest actor to win a Tony Award for his portrayal of music icon Michael Jackson in Broadway's MJ the Musical. Frost was a junior music technology major at Bowie State before being selected in 2021 for the starring role on Broadway. A day before the award ceremony, Frost was interviewed by BSU.
I didn't make the Tonys the goal. You know, the goal is to touch as many hearts as and change so many lives and inspire as many people as I can, because that's a never ending, that's gonna never end. That's something that you can do for the rest of your life.
And according to Dr. Aminta Bro, president of Bowie State University, Frost is the youngest HBCU student to win a Tony Award. A local organization aimed at bringing color to the classics is bringing opera to Prince George's County. The Coalition of African Americans in the Performing Arts is hosting the event on Saturday, June 25th. The show, titled Opera from a Sister's Point of View, features world-renowned soprano Angela Brown. The concert will also feature some up-and-coming talent.
Well, Opera from a Sister's Point of View is a show that demystifies opera for audiences that normally wouldn't go. Now, when I first started doing that, I used to say it was, Black people didn't like opera. They don't want to go. As I started doing the show, I found that white folk don't like opera either. And it's about being exposed. And as I did it through the years, I saw that a lot of young people that were opera students needed more guidance, more opportunities to perform. So I created Opera from a Sister's Point of View, Generation Next, that shines a light on the up and coming Black opera stars. So that is the show that I'm bringing to Prince George's County.
Again, the show is June 25th at 4 p.m. It takes place at the Prince George's Community College Center for the Performing Arts. Now let's get a quick check at your weather forecast. Tonight, a chance of showers with lows near 71. Tuesday, showers and thunderstorms likely with a high around 85. Wednesday, mostly sunny with more thunderstorms expected and a high near 87. Thursday, another chance of showers and thunderstorms, highs around 88. And that wraps up our CTV News Update. I'm Patricia Vallone. Have a great night.